What's up, guys? All right. The gate was 2.75 million. There were 15,077 in attendance. The fight of the night, no-brainer. Co-main event, Joanna and Zhang. Beneil and O'Malley got the other bonuses, 50 grand. And then the 50-50 raffle tonight raised $52,000, and that's for 3 Square Food Bank here in Las Vegas. Who's got the first question?
Dana, main event was a bit odd to say the least. Not, I guess, maybe what we were hoping for.
Yeah.
Where do you lay blame on that? What's your take on why that fight played out the way it did?
Well, there's two things. That was a tough act to follow after the co-main event, and then I believe that Israel Adesanya fights to the level of his opponent. The Anderson Silva fight was similar to that. And then you think about the Gastelum fight was a war. You know, Gastelum goes after him and tries to take his head off. Whitaker's going after him, trying to take his head off. That fight was great. And you better believe that Paulo Costa's going to go after him. And that fight should be ridiculous. Yeah. You know, I expected Yoel Romero. You heard all week, I was literally talking more about the co-main event than I was the main event. I knew that fight was going to be ridiculous. You have these two incredibly talented savages who wanted that belt more than anything. And, you know, I didn't know if there was going to be a knockout or a submission or something like that, but I knew I was begging people to watch that. You know me, man. When I sell fights, I don't beg anybody to watch anything. I was literally begging people to watch this fight. And it was incredible. But I think that, what I was saying is I'm shocked that Romero knew this was his last opportunity at a world championship. I thought he was going to come out like a bat out of hell, put tons of pressure on him, shoot takedowns, go for, you know, try to knock him out. He did literally none of that. So if you're Adesanya, he fought the smart fight. You stay on the outside. He chopped that leg apart, and he picked his punches and did what he did. You know, Romero did a lot of moving around and acting like I'm trying to fight, but he never really did.
Yeah. Costa was back here earlier tonight, and he said that he thought the tentative plan was July 11th for that fight.
Yeah. He's got to calm down. I want to hear from a doctor. Again, they told me that he went crazy tonight and jumped over the gate and was going crazy. We threw him out. You know, and I just had to calm those guys down in the back. You know, he wants this fight so bad. When he's healthy and a doctor calls me and tells me, not his like friend from Brazil, when a doctor calls me and tells me that he's healthy, we'll make this fight. This is the fight to make. This is the fight that I want to see. And I guarantee you, when that fight happens, you'll hear me going crazy about that one. That fight's going to be ridiculous because Paulo Costa will move forward. He will not stop punching. He's going to throw big shots and try to knock him out, and Israel will fight.
Nice. The co-main event, as you said, I mean, one of the greatest fights I think we've ever seen. I want to ask you, I mean, when a fight's that good, as a promoter, it seems like the easy thing to be would say, let's run it back again, because who wouldn't sign up to see them fight again? Do you look at that as an option, or does it not make sense?
Did you see what those two girls look like after that fight, man? They're both in the hospital right now. They did not go to a press conference. They did not talk to press. They both went straight to the hospital. They need to go home, take time, heal up, and everything else before I even mention a fight with either one of them again, you know?
Nice. And last thing for me, Dana, there were reports of an incident backstage involving Brian Ortega. Do you have any details?
There was a lot of crazy shit going on tonight. It was weird. Yeah, him and the Zombie got in a fight, which is completely unlike both of their personalities. And Zombie doesn't even speak English, so I don't know what the hell he could have said that would get Ortega to start going crazy. But, yeah, it was weird.
Were there, like, punches thrown? Or?
I guess so. It happened right over in the fighter section. It wasn't backstage, right? It wasn't backstage, was it? No, it was over in the fighter section. It happened during the fight.
Wow. Any legal involvement or just kind of fighters, guys fighting?
Yeah, we don't want anybody getting arrested.
Cool. Thanks, Dave.
Dana, right here. Just to elaborate on the co-main event a little bit, I mean, you had said, as you mentioned, coming into this fight, that you were more excited for this than anything on the card. Is this, you know, the best women's MMA fight you've ever seen?
It's one of the best fights I've ever seen. But yes, yeah, I think so. Right here off the top of my head, I would have to say yes, best women's fight I've ever seen, one of the best fights I've ever seen.
Can you give us any insight on the level of interest in China for Weili in this fight?
This show performed very well everywhere. This show killed it. And I got to say this. I was telling Ioli this earlier, man. I love our fans. Our fans are awesome. You think about, the stuff that's going on right now, and, one of these reporters tried to say something about this the other day at the thing, and they booed him out of the place. Everybody showed our ticket sales this week were exactly like a regular week, and the walk-up was huge tonight. Our fans are incredible, man. I think back to when we did the first fight in Las Vegas, it was the week of September 11th. And we were sold out. The fight had been on sale for months. The fight was sold out. And Las Vegas was a ghost town. Nobody was doing anything. Nobody was flying. We didn't know if anybody was even going to show up to the event. The place was packed. There wasn't an open seat anywhere. And it reminds me of tonight. So thank you to the fans. You guys are incredible.
Any other performances jump off the page? Sean O'Malley.
O'Malley looked good, man. Think that guy's been off for a couple years to come back in and look as sharp as he did. I got to talk to the boys, but I want to turn him around as quick as possible and get him back in there.
Do you think we see him take like a significant step up in competition? Or?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see who's available and who we think. And like I said, I got to talk to the matchmakers about that one and see if we all agree. I don't just say, I'm going to do this. I talk to them, and then we talk about it. We argue, and then we figure out what's right.
And last thing outside of this card, we saw Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski both in the crowd, and they kind of got the split screen treatment on the in-house thing. Is that fight close, that rematch close to being done?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I think so. Off the top of my head, I don't know.
That'd be in Perth, I assume.
Yeah. Thank you. Who's next? Kev?
Right over here, Dana.
Oh. Hey.
During the years you've been promoting fights, you've built a lot of champions and built a lot of careers. What are some of the challenges you think moving forward with a guy like Israel after a performance like tonight? And what do you think is going to be so easy about promoting Zhang Weili in the future based on her performance tonight?
Yeah, listen, he wanted Romero on his resume. He got it. He won the fight. And you take these things fight by fight. Listen, if anybody thinks I'm wrong, raise your hand right now and we can talk about it. The Costa fight's going to be insane. The Costa fight will be ridiculous. Costa will come forward. He will throw big punches. He will throw combinations. He will not stop punching. And Israel Adesanya is going to have to fight him. And I'm telling you right now, just like I told you, Weili Zhang and Joanna was going to be insane, Costa versus Adesanya will be a ridiculous fight. I guarantee it. I absolutely, positively guarantee it. So he got what he wanted. He got him on his resume. He beat him. And on to Costa.
You know, a lot of us think that Adesanya is sort of on the cusp of being one of the biggest superstars that you guys have in the sport. You've seen a lot of guys come and go, GSPs, Anderson Silvas, and then there's other guys like Demetrius Johnson that maybe don't take off, but they're great. At what point do you really start to see these champions evolve from, just being a champion to, a world-class superstar?
Well, again, I think that, you continue to fight and you continue to win. When he goes into the Costa fight, he'll be 19-0. And then whoever comes out of that Romero Costa fight, the winner, either one of those guys are going to be big stars. If Costa beats Israel Adesanya, he's going to blow up in Brazil. Then it starts to spill over into the other countries, And obviously, if Adesanya beats Costa, it will be in spectacular fashion because Costa's going to try to decapitate him.
Thank you.
I can't wait for that fight, if you can't tell. When I'm sitting here today talking about this, the matchmakers didn't love that fight and didn't want to make that fight. They did not want to make Romero versus Adesanya. But the goofy fan in me said, "Are you shitting me? Come on. This will be a fun fight to do." And the fact that he wants to fight a guy that nobody else wants to fight, now, hindsight is 20/20. Probably shouldn't have done that fight. We should have waited for Costa, but oh well, we did it.
What was their rationale that they didn't want to make the fight?
That I didn't? Oh, they didn't? They said
didn't.
it doesn't make sense. You can't tell the matchmakers anything that doesn't make sense. Everything has to make sense to those two,
How did you score the women's fight?
Fuck, Kevin, I was so into that fight. I didn't really score it, but me and Downey Jr. were like giddy little girls getting ready for that fight. And I think when it went in, I think we were both feeling like it was even going into the 5th round. But I honestly couldn't tell you. I didn't really score it. I was just caught up in it.
Obviously, Joanna had a good fight against Michelle Waterson the last time, but do you feel like she raised her game even tonight to get to where she was?
Joanna has looked. She comes to fight. She's incredibly talented. She comes to win. She comes to hurt you. She comes to bust you up. And, she's one of the baddest to ever do it.
And Wei Li's, her eye was closing, I think, in the first round, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
She showed a lot of toughness in the fight, too. I mean, obviously she got battered as the fight went on, but even early on when she couldn't see, she was still moving forward.
Well, not only toughness, her cardio was unbelievable. That was her first time ever into championship rounds, and she looked damn good in those rounds. And what was weird is the first round, it looked like her face started getting whatever, and this eye was swelling up a little bit, but then boom, all of a sudden, Joanna looked way worse than Weili. And I was like, God damn. When did that happen?
And have you had a chance to talk to Yoel? And did he say anything to you afterward?
No, I didn't talk to him.
Do you have any thought on what would possess a guy at 42 years old, knowing how many title fights he's had, to fight that way?
Right from the bell, he came out and just stood there with his hands up.
Right.
Makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I thought he was going to come out like a madman.
You were pretty pissed off in Abu Dhabi after the Anderson Silva-Demian Maia fight. Was your level of disappointment the same with this one as you were after that?
Yeah, this was a terrible fight. I mean, if you look at the UFC as a whole, for as long as we've been doing it, you can literally put in one hand shitty fights that we've done. You know what I mean? And it takes two to fight, man. If somebody goes out there and doesn't want to engage and doesn't want to fight, and if you're a guy like if you're a guy like Adesanya, he's got so much more on the line. If this is the way the guy's acting, he's going to stay back and he's going to pick him apart the way that he did. That leg was destroyed. We'll see when he comes walking in tonight when you guys see him. I'm sure he's not going to be, he's not going to have a pep in his step tonight. That leg is hurting. And, Adesanya did what he had to do, in my opinion. Why run in there and go crazy against a guy that dangerous when that guy's not fighting at all?
Last thing I wanted to ask you is you announced UFC 165 going into the Hall of Fame tonight, and I couldn't help but think the next fight that you had in the cage afterwards was Joanna and Wei Li, and you have to think that fight may someday be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, that was that caliber fight, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, that's definitely a Hall of Fame fight, 100%. I mean, I'm sure you guys had the same thing. My phone was going crazy during that fight. Everybody was blowing me up, saying it's the greatest fight they've ever seen. Who's next?
Hey, Dan, you're right here.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, good to see you.
You too.
Hey, last June you came on my podcast with LVSportsBiz.com, and you actually talked up Weili Zhang a lot, if I recall. I mean, you were really high on her even before she won the belt. And I'm wondering at this point, once she gets healed up, what do you see for her future with UFC? And I'm wondering if she might be in the same category of an Amanda Nunes, who's a very talented woman fighter, great personality, and I was wondering, what could be UFC can do to make these women a little more marketable to mainstream America,
Yeah. So we always knew she was special. We knew she was special, and we started moving her the way you move somebody that you think is special. Then this crazy thing happened where she was ranked number 6, I think, and all the people in front of her either had a fight, just lost the fight, something like that, and she ended up fighting. She was in line for the title to fight Jessica Andrade, who is an absolute beast. And we were saying, is she ready for her? We don't know, but she's next in line. Let's do it. So we decided to do it, and the result was incredible. Tonight, she went in against the best ever from that division. right? The woman who built that division, defended the title 5 times, and Joanna Jędrzejczyk came in ridiculous, incredible shape. The amount of experience she has over Weili Zhang is massive, and you saw how good she looked tonight. I only expect her to get better, look better, and I think she made a lot of fans tonight, you know? She got a good pop from the crowd when she walked out. The fans were behind her, and she murdered it in China, which is more important to me than the U.S. You know, great, people like her in the U.S. I love it, and I want people to like her everywhere, but China was a huge success. We will continue to move her around and do. There's a certain pattern when you're building somebody and you're trying to build them into a star. There's a pattern in what you do. We did it with Conor McGregor. We've done it with Ronda. We've done it with all the greats, and we're going to do it with her.
Dana over here.
Yep.
This was Zhang Weili's first big pay-per-view event, first pay-per-view ever. Also, she had to deal with the whole coronavirus and all the media and all that. Can you just talk about? I know she had an amazing performance. Can you talk about how she dealt with everything outside of?
Yeah, you know, she had to deal with. She went to Thailand first, then she had to go over to Abu Dhabi, then she came here, and once she got here, she needed to be here early anyway, which I don't think her team really knew. You need to get to Vegas early to acclimate for the time, weather. It's super dry here, and it messes with fighters. So it ended up being perfect that we got her in here earlier. The other things that she had to deal with was the pressure. She knows who the hell she's fighting. She knows who Joanna Jędrzejczyk is and what she's capable of. And the other thing she dealt with pretty well too, but you could tell she was uncomfortable with it, was the mind games that Joanna plays. Joanna started trying to play the mind games with her and everything else. This was her first time going 5 rounds. She dealt with a lot of shit, you're right, and she handled it like a true champion.
And you know, we have an American perspective, obviously being here in America, but I know you guys have probably done your research in as far as like the Chinese market. How big of a star can she be?
She's going to be a massive star. You know, just like the fighting sport is so crazy, you got to keep winning. If you keep winning, you're going to be a star. Even guys we had a hard time. I used to terrorize me all the time back in the day saying, when is Anderson Silva going to become a star? When is Anderson Silva going to do this? When is Anderson Silva going to do that? Then he kicked Vitor Belfort in the face with that crazy shit that nobody had ever seen before, and boom, he blew up and exploded and became a huge star.
And talking about the main event, you did say, you know, it takes 2 to fight, but it almost seems like you feel like the lack of action in the main event was mainly due to Yoel Romero's part. Do you feel that's accurate?
I do. Yeah, I feel like Yoel Romero, he literally went out and stood in the middle of when the bell rang in the first round, just stood there with his hands up. You know what I mean? You're going in and facing the world champion. This is your last shot at a championship. You shouldn't even be here getting this title fight. It should be Paulo Costa. If he didn't get hurt, you don't even get this opportunity. You go in and you do everything you can to win that fight. He literally did none of that.
He plans on continue fighting for a long time. He says he still has 10 more years left in him. Is there a path for him to get back to the title, or you feel like this was it?
A path back to the title after that performance? I mean, you're crazy even asking that question right now. He looked terrible tonight. He looked terrible. He literally gave up an opportunity tonight. You know, maybe he comes back in his next fight and looks like Yoel Romero. But if he doesn't, I wouldn't expect him to fight another 10 years looking like that.
And switching gears, we spoke to Daniel Cormier earlier in the week. He says he's back to training and starting to feel healthy again. Once that Stipe trilogy fight, is that the fight to make? And do you have any update on that end?
No, not yet. I know Stipe's still not hurt, and we got to get Cormier going here soon, or he's going to put on so much weight he won't be able to fight.
So will an interim belt be in place, or will you guys wait till Stipe gets healthy? What's sort of in your mind there?
I don't know. We got to see what happens, and we got to find out realistically how long Stipe is going to be out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dana over here.
Hey, buddy.
Interesting statistic here. Every single fighter from the red corner won tonight.
Huh.
Don't know if that means much, but I've never seen it before. So,
Right.
question for you: we had an amazing fight with Joseph Benavidez and Davison Figueiredo.
Yeah.
The winner is the guy that didn't make weight, and the title is vacant. Is there any plan for that, and who would it involve?
Yeah, I think you got to do the fight again. You got to do the fight again. It's fair. It's the only fair thing to do with those guys, and we'll figure it out, and we'll definitely do it.
Makes sense. The referee warned, I think, both Israel and Yoel tonight. Is there anything you wish he could have done further, or was there anything he could have, a second warning, or would you believe in implementing like an old school pride yellow card, or what do you think might be?
No, listen, guys, the fight sucked, right? The fight sucked.
Yeah, it did.
But you just came off the craziest shit you've ever seen in your life. The energy in that building was through the roof. Those guys, they were walking into a no-win situation as it was. You know what I mean? I don't think it was so bad that we're like, God, the ref should have done this. The ref should have. I thought the ref did a good job. There were a couple times when they weren't engaging, and that's probably when he warned them and told them to fight. But tough act to follow. After watching that last fight, it was a tough situation for both of them to be in.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah, we were all.
The fight sucked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
What did you think of Neil Magny? A lot of people didn't think he was going to come back and do anything against Li Jingliang. I think it was pretty amazing. Huh?
He looked good tonight. I mean, Neil Magny's one of those guys that's always tough, man, and he's always right there. And, he's the guy that you got to get through if you want to break into, like, the top 7. He's a tough guy to get past.
Absolutely. Last question for me. Any decision of the very few we had tonight that you disagreed with?
I don't know. Nothing stood out in my mind where I'm like, that was insane.
Yeah.
Usually when that happens, we're this deep into the press conference already, and I did 3 other shows before I came here. People would have been talking about it. Sure. You're the first guy to mention it, so I don't think anything was crazy tonight.
I know I said last, but would you have been disappointed had Joanna received the decision in that fight?
It was a crazy close fight. How did you guys go? Did anybody have Joanna win in this fight? A few of you guys, yeah. Yeah.
Amazing show, though.
It was a split decision.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. Listen, when you're in a title fight, right, you have to do everything you can to win that. Not that these girls didn't. I mean, that's fucking stupid of me to even say. But, it's just you never know which way it's going to go. And you just have to do everything in your power to try to stop that thing from going to the judges' scorecard.
Without a doubt. Great show.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Dana, how you doing?
What's up, Shmo?
Yesterday at the UFC 249 press conference, Khabib and Tony Ferguson, it got heated. Khabib kicked the belt that Tony put on the floor. McGregor couldn't even get him to flinch. Just want to get your thoughts on that and how it all went down and Khabib losing his temper.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, when he kicked the belt, he said that belt's as fake as you. And you saw Khabib normally just has that, listen to this guy, and then he did start getting pissed off halfway through the press conference. Going to be a fun fight, man. It's a fun fight. Tony is a super talented guy that can fight from wherever the fight goes, on the feet, on the ground, spinning stuff, submissions. I mean, the guy's got everything. And Khabib is Khabib. He's one of the greatest ever. And this is the fight everybody wants to see. This is the fight we've tried to make 100 times. And this is the fight that needs to happen right here, right now. Number 1 versus number 2.
How close were we to get Darren Till to fight on this fight card? I know Jaron Cannonier tore the pectoral muscle. He was out. There was some talk back and forth. Maybe there were some visa issues. What's next for Darren Till? Is it Dublin in August for that fight night card? What's next for Darren?
Yeah, I don't remember how close it was. We were talking about him fighting in a few different places. And, yeah, I think Dublin is where it's going to happen.
And lastly, I thought Paulo Costa was kicked out. He's standing right next to you.
No, he didn't get kicked out. They were kicking him out of the stadium, out of the arena, because he was losing his fucking mind, and it scares people. You know what I mean?
Understood.
Is he here? Oh,
Right
yeah. Look at him. Fucking guy was going crazy, and look at him. Nobody wants that shit. Everybody gets scared. So we had to take. No, don't, no excuse. What? Yeah, he was going fucking crazy. So they brought him out into the back and tried to calm him down. And then Waleed I don't even need to say anything. You know, right? He's fucking nuts. So you got these two going fucking crazy out in the arena, right? Yeah. It's my night. Shitty fight, and then these two start fucking flipping out.
Dana right in front of you.
Yeah.
Can you just talk a little bit about being a promoter that has Joanna on your roster? I mean, she goes out there. This is her 4th title fight in a row that she's lost, but she still comes back better. She improves. She puts on great shows. So what does it mean to you as a promoter to have her on your
Yeah, I'm incredibly lucky. She's amazing. She's an amazing human being. And if you look at her evolution since she's come to the UFC, look at her on social media. She's incredible on social media. And you can honestly tell when you watch Joanna and what she's doing, she enjoys herself. She's loving her life. She's having fun. She got another title shot. She came in dead serious, got in phenomenal shape. She looks so good. She made the weight cut easy, played the mind games like a pro, like she does, and did everything she could to try to win this fight. We're incredibly lucky to have somebody like her, somebody who built that division, started it, and, after all these years can get me that excited for a fucking fight, man. So awesome.
And you mentioned Brian Ortega earlier. Last month you said that you guys were interested in making a fight with Zabit in April. Is there any update on that, or could we see a Korean Zombie Ortega fight considering everything that's gone down?
Yeah, probably that fight. Probably the Zombie. I think. I don't remember exactly all these things in my head that we're working on right now. We literally have fights made all the way up to like. Is Hunter in here? What do we got? July what? Huh? Yeah, we got fights made all the way up to International Fight Week. So, off the top of my head right now, I don't know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dana, right in the middle.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey there. So obviously you're interested in the Chinese market for Zhang and her actually becoming a bigger superstar there. But you also said that there's a pattern that you follow in basically making stars out of some of these fighters. What would be next in that pattern for you for Wei Li?
Probably take her to New York. Madison Square Garden.
And then also, so the 2 women were taken to the hospital. They're going to be suspended for a given amount of time. Who knows what their injuries are? Who is your 2A and 2B then, who we could see next in that strawweight division? You've got Tatiana out there. Obviously, Rose is looking to come back as well.
Right. Rose is fighting. Rose and Andrade are fighting. Tatiana's hurt. Something wrong with her neck that we're trying to figure out, and I don't know. We'll see how this thing plays out. Obviously, the Rose and Andrade fight has to happen, and these two have to heal up. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Dana, how you doing? Can I ask you a little bit, kind of looking ahead, you mentioned July is kind of how far out you are, but Conor was here a month ago, whatever, saying that he wanted to be the first one to fight at Allegiant Stadium. How does that work with you and kind of with Badane and those guys with the Raiders schedule and the NFL schedule and trying to be the first, I guess, combat sport in that new Allegiant Stadium? How does all that work?
I don't want to be first. I've never wanted to be first. I wasn't the first guy to run out and get a TV deal. I wasn't the first guy. I wanted to be right. I want it to be successful. So I'm not going to bring an event there until I know that it's big enough to go to that stadium and it can actually be very successful. So, I can't look into the future and say, oh, this fight's definitely going to happen. It's all determined by whether guys win or lose. And as guys continue to win, it builds the next fight and builds the next fight, and we'll see what's next, And Conor, we're trying to figure out if he wants to fight again or if he's going to wait or what's going to happen. So I really don't have any answers. And you got to see what happens with Khabib and Tony. But if that thing played out, Conor versus Khabib will be the biggest fight ever in the history of combat sports. I'm not just talking UFC, ever. It'll beat Floyd versus Conor.
Thank you.
We good? Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. Have a good night.
Carlos.
Hello, guys. Good night.
Paulo, thanks for coming back here again. I think we know a little bit about your thoughts on the fight, but please tell us what your impressions were of the title fight that we just witnessed.
Tonight? Oh, horrible fight. I was shame there to watch that fight. Adesanya is nothing. Adesanya is the most shameful champion I have seen ever. He just run. He's nothing. He's nothing. He's scared. You know, I think he don't deserve talk about him. But was a shit. That fight was a shit. I will make him cry. I will hit him very badly, and he will cry like a baby. I will slap his face on my fight against him, you know, because that's it. He's shameful.
Dana was just here, obviously, and he seemed to put a lot of the blame on Romero, that Romero didn't do enough, that Romero didn't press the action. Did you think that some of the blame lied on Romero, or did you feel like it all fell on Adesanya?
I don't blame Romero. Romero is the same against everybody. He never put 100% of pressure, you know. He's a little bit lazy, and sometimes he explodes. The fact is, Adesanya cannot handle with him. Just this. So, and Adesanya cannot handle against powerful guys, you know, like Romero, like Joe Jones, or me. That's why he's afraid. That's why he's avoid some fights, like against me, like against Joe Jones. He's avoid this kind of fight.
He looked for you while he was in the cage, but you had left the arena, and he wanted to tell you to your face that he plans on effing you up when you guys meet. Do you have a message that you'd like to give to him?
Of course, everybody leave from the cage, but when I jump, some people catch me and, you know, bring me out. But he don't deserve it. Why I need to wait for him for tell something for him, you know? He make a very, very bad fight tonight. So I left because this.
You know, I don't know, you guys know. He not left. The security put him out. You have this in the camera. Because he jumped to go to the cage, and the security come crazy. But it is what it is. He not left. To be clear, the security put him out. You have this recorded. It was the crazy things because he wanna this fight more than anybody in the world against Adesanya.
Paulo here. How did you score the fight? There wasn't much action, but seems some people were split.
I think nobody deserves get win, but Romero put more pressure. Romero take the middle of the cage.
When you see that kind of performance, does it kind of disappoint you or maybe excite you of what you can do when you face Adesanya? Like, how do you feel now after having watched that performance?
I feel shame for that fight, but I will destroy him.
And Dana White says security had to take you out. What exactly happened?
Yeah, I jumped because somebody told me to be prepared or to be ready to go inside the cage. So I jumped. That's it.
And we know you had a bicep injury. Can you give us an update on that? And when are you looking to return?
Sorry, but I don't try go inside the cage to fight nobody. Just to say something, just like that. Your question?
Yeah, and when are you looking to return? Ideally, when would you like to fight Adesanya?
I'm 100% right now. I did a light box sparring this morning. I feel great. The doctor say I'm 100% free to go training hard, and I can fight on 2 months or 3 months. But I think July 11 would be a nice date, you know, on International Fight Week here.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Any question? No? Okay, thank you. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Yoel, clearly not the result that you were hoping for tonight. I'm just curious, in your words, what went wrong? What needed to happen that didn't happen tonight?
Es imposible pelear con un fantasma, que no te tiren golpes y que vean ganar a un fantasma. Eso es lo que pasó.
He said it's impossible to fight against a ghost. I don't know how anybody could expect him to fight against a ghost.
Creo que me voy a preparar más para atletismo cuando o él tiene un buen potencial para atletismo. Para atletismo, la carrera.
He says that he's going to start training for track or cross country because obviously he's a cross country and a track star, so he needs to catch up to his sport.
As the rounds were carrying on and we were getting later and later in the fight, did you feel a need to pick up the pace or to try to press or to try to make something happen even though it was so difficult to track him down?
Yo no me sentí frustrado. Lo que me da era pena por los fanáticos.
He said that he didn't feel frustrated. What he did was he felt ashamed for the fans.
Did you feel that you were losing the rounds? Did you have an idea of what the score was?
No, yo perdí todos los rounds porque él corrió más que yo.
He said that honestly he thinks that he lost all the rounds, and that's because he ran more than he did.
Sí,
That Israel ran more than you all did.
Por eso fue que perdí porque él corrió más y parecía que la competencia que hoy estábamos peleando para ver quién corría más.
He said that he feels that now the fight scene and the fight game is whoever runs the fastest is the winner.
I'm curious if this is the last title fight that he gets in his career for some reason, if there will be any regrets at all for the game plan or the execution or anything on his side.
I mean, that was kind of a statement, not a.
No, I'm asking if he will feel that way. If for whatever reason he's never able to fight for a UFC title again, will he have any regrets at all about his game plan or his execution tonight?
Simplemente que esperaba hoy tener una guerra. Vine a tener una guerra, a darle un buen show a la fanaticada y eso no pasó. Es lo que es como me estoy sintiendo ahora.
He said that the only thing that he feels is that he's ashamed that he couldn't give the fans a fight or a war that everybody wanted. that now it just became a running match, and he just feels bad and just in general.
Creo que es una falta de respeto.
He said it's a huge disrespect.
El supuesto gran campeón que tiene UFC hoy.
The supposedly and apparent grand champion of the UFC.
Creo que es una gran falta de respeto compararlo con Anderson Silva.
He said it's a huge disrespect comparing him to Anderson Silva.
Anderson Silva a los 30 años nos paraba a todos nosotros en los asientos.
He said that Anderson Silva at 30 years old would make the whole stadium stand up.
Creo que es una falta de respeto lo que acaba de hacer Israel hoy para todos los fanaticados de las artes marciales mixtas, principalmente de la UFC.
He said it's a huge disrespect what Israel did today for the fans and for the sport of the UFC.
La gente paga en pay-per-view. La gente trabaja mucho para pagar el pay-per-view. Para ver cómo dos grandes guerreros dan lo mejor de sí. Israel no respetó eso hoy.
He said that a lot of people work hard and they work hard to put food on their plate and they spend a lot of money to pay for pay-per-view to watch two greats fight. And today Israel didn't give that to them.
Mi respeto para las peleadoras que estuvieron antes de nosotros.
He said that huge respect to the fighters who fought right before them.
Yo tenía mi cabeza preparada para eso.
He said that that's what he had his mind set to, was a fight.
Me encontré un gran corredor.
Instead he found a great runner.
Hay que recordar que él tiene descendencia africana. Los africanos son muy buenos corriendo. ¿Sí? Tell him.
He says that you have to remember that his descendants from Africa were great runners and that he forgot that. He should have planned better for that.
Dana White was just in here. He said the onus goes on Yoel for the way the fight turned out, not Israel as much. Could you just explain, why you feel so strongly that it was, Israel's fault the way the fight went down?
Si yo estoy parado, ¿dónde se pelea? ¿No se pelea en el medio del ring? Yo estoy parado en medio del ring.
He said, where do you fight? Don't you fight in the middle of the ring? I was standing in the middle of the ring.
¿Y él corrió?
And he ran.
¿Qué harías tú?
What would you do?
Si cada vez que vas atrás un tipo sigue corriendo.
And every time he would come after him, he would just run.
Cada vez que siente el poder de tu mano, corre y corre.
Every time he would get near him, he would just run and run and run.
¿Tuviste la pelea? Ask him. ¿Él vio la pelea?
He said, did you see the fight?
I did.
¿Viste el primer golpe que le di en el ojo en el primer round?
He said, did you see that first hit that he caught Israel with?
I did.
Ya. No quiere más.
He said, yeah, he didn't want anything after that.
Es como igual que cuando querían pelear con Mike Tyson.
He said it was the same thing like when everybody wanted to fight Mike Tyson.
Todo el mundo tenía un plan.
Everybody had a plan
Hasta que Mike lo conectaba.
until Mike hit him in the face.
Él es kickboxing.
He's a kickboxer.
Supuestamente un gran kickboxer.
Apparently a great kickboxer.
Mira mi face. Mira mi cara.
Look at his face.
How are your legs feeling? That's what Izzy felt that he could do.
That's a salsa. That's a salsa. So what you want to see?
And last thing from me, any idea what you do from here? I know you said you wanted to keep fighting for another 10 years. Is that still the plan? When would you like to compete again?
Ahora más que nunca.
He said, now more than ever.
Si acabo de pelear con el que supuestamente iba a romper el récord, era el supuesto Anderson Silva.
He said, I just finished a quote-unquote fighting Apparently, the guy who said that he would beat the record of Anderson Silva.
¿Sabes por qué le ganó? Ya lo he dicho en varias entrevistas. Ya lo he dicho en varias entrevistas.
He said that he's already said that in a few interviews.
¿Sabe por qué le ganó
Do you know why he won
a Robert Whittaker?
at Whitaker?
Porque ya no era el mismo. Robert no era el mismo.
Because he wasn't the same.
Había sufrido muchos daños en las grandes batallas que tuvo conmigo.
He said he suffered a lot of injuries in the years he's had.
Mi respeto para Robert.
And he has respect for everyone.
Se paraba a pelear conmigo.
And he would stand and fight with me.
Joel, aquí atrás para Univisión. Tan cercas pero tan lejos, una oportunidad más de conseguir el título, el campeonato. ¿Qué más te hizo falta? Platícanos un poquito de, o sea, él corrió, él hizo, se fue. ¿Qué tú podrías haber hecho más para poder haber ganado el campeonato? ¿Y qué piensas acerca de todos tus aficionados latinos que vieron la pelea?
Honestamente, hermano, creo que a lo mejor tenía que meterle el dedo en el ojo también. No sé. Es imposible pararte en el medio a pelear. Uno viene aquí a pelear, no a correr. Eso fue lo que él hizo. Correr y correr y correr. Esperaba tener un digno rival. Tuve a un corredor delante de mí. No me tocó. Él pateó, yo pateé también. Él hizo intentos de takedown, ni uno. Ni uno. Yo creo que yo hice algunos. Él me golpeó la cara. Yo creo que yo le golpeé más la cara a él. Él no me golpeó. Y a la fanaticada latina, Dios me los bendiga muchísimo. Y ustedes han sido testigos también de lo que ha pasado hoy. Hoy sí estoy muy molesto, muy molesto. Porque al menos con Robert Whittaker, Robert se paró a pelear conmigo. No creo que Adesanya haya respetado a todas las personas, a todas las comunidades, no importa, todas las personas que han pagado el pay-per-view, no respetó que las personas trabajan para pagar el pay-per-view, para verte pelear, para ver tu trabajo. Es cuando tú vas a un doctor, tú pagas para que el doctor te atienda bien. Es lo mismo. Y él no respetó eso.
Well, I don't know if you want me to translate or just keep going in Spanish, but 42, a tus 42 años, tal vez sea la última vez que puedas pelear por un título. ¿Vas a buscarlo nuevamente? ¿Vas a buscar el título una vez más? I mean, the question is, at 42 years old, is he going to look for another title shot? ¿Qué es lo que vas a hacer?
Never give up. Never give up.
Yoel, can I clarify right in front of you, directly in front? Your first answer, you said it's impossible to fight a ghost. I just wanted to clarify what you meant when you called him a ghost.
I'll answer that. He wasn't giving him any sort of compliment. He meant was he was non-existent. Yoel showed up to fight. Israel apparently showed up to fight. But every time Yoel wanted to engage, he would disappear. That's what he meant by a ghost. He wasn't giving him any sort of like, oh, he was slipping. I know you understood, but I guess I want to clarify for everybody out there that at no point is Yoel giving him any sort of respect. We've lost our respect for him as a fighter. You can't call yourself a warrior if you're going to run. You stand and you bang. That's it.
That's what I'm thinking. Tonight, everybody loses. Not only me. Everybody. The fans, the UFC. Only the winner tonight is him. Only him. The fan for UFC, he loses. They lost the money, he lost the espectáculo. Perdieron el espectáculo, botaron su dinero para ver el pay-per-view.
He said the whole night was just a waste. They didn't have the spectacular outcome they wanted. They didn't have the show. They didn't have the gladiators they wanted to fight. That's it.
UFC perdió también.
He said UFC lost because
Tienes que
Israel
poner un
represents-
campeón, un campeón digno de darte un buen espectáculo. No va a correr. Que se vaya entonces para campo y pista.
He said that you need a dignified champion. You don't need somebody who's going to run the whole time. You need somebody who's going to represent your brand.
Esto es un deporte de combate, un deporte de contacto,
So this is a contact sport. This is combat.
donde te van a dar y tú vas a dar.
You're going to get hit and you're going to hit them.
¿Entiendes? Si a él no le gusta que le den, que se vaya de nuevo no sé, no sé. Mira, para danza, a él que le gusta bailar.
He said that he needs to find another sport, either start running professionally or start dancing professionally.
I just wanted to ask, when the fight began and you stood there in the center of the ring, were you trying to make a statement to him when you stood with your hands up and he wasn't engaging you? You just stood there for 30 seconds. I mean, were you trying to make a statement at that point?
Que se parara ahí conmigo.
He said that he wanted him to stand right in front of him and engage with him. He didn't want to chase him around the ring. He wanted him to stand in front of him.
¿Sabes? Él quiere que sea sincero, que le conteste de verdad lo que
He
quería.
said, do you really want him to answer what he wanted?
Vamos a matarnos.
He said he wanted them to kill each other.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Hello. Romero, how do you see Paulo Costa against Adesanya? Who do you think is going to win the fight?
Eso depende.
He said it depends. I already know where this is going.
Because I'm so sorry, guys. Oh, God. Va a tener que prepararse bien duro corriendo, Paulo. Porque
He said that Paulo Costa's gotta prepare himself very well to
el
start
hombre corre cantidad.
because Israel can run. He runs a lot.
Corre mucho.
He runs a lot.
Y entonces es dependiendo de como qué es lo que quieran ver los jueces.
He said it's also dependent on what does the judges want to see.
Okay, my last question is, Dana White said before that he was expecting you to be more aggressive in this fight. How do you see that?
¿Agresivo con quién?
Back to the ghost. Aggressive with who? If there's nobody in front of him, who's he going to be?
Estoy parado, en medio del ring y el hombre corriendo, no quería acercarse. ¿Con quién voy a pelear? ¿A salir corriendo como un loco? ¿Con una sombra? ¿Qué quieren? ¿Qué es lo que querían ver?
What did you guys want to see?
¿Qué querían ver? Yo parado en medio o corriendo detrás de un hombre y el hombre corriendo y otra como uno corriendo detrás de una gallina. Algo así, porque eso fue lo que pasó. ¿Qué más agresivo? Si supuestamente el hombre viejo está peleando con un jovencito y el jovencito es el que corre. ¿Qué quieren ver?
He said, what did you guys want to see? He's like, an old man chasing a young man and the young man running. That's not the game he wanted. That's what you guys got. He said he stood in front of him, he engaged him, and he just ran. There's no way anybody else saw that fight otherwise.
¿Más agresivo?
He said, more aggressive? How?
Joel, por acá. Adesanya dijo que te iba a finalizar y que iba a hacer una declaración con su desempeño. ¿Te sorprendió el tipo de pelea que tuvo? Were you surprised by his performance? Adesanya said that he was going to go in there and finish you and make a statement.
He said que él me iba a retirar.
He said that he was apparently going to retire me.
Que le iba a demostrar al mundo que ya yo estoy bien viejo.
He said that he was apparently going to show the world that he's very old for the sport.
¿Pierdes respeto por él después de ese desempeño?
No me preguntes a mí, pregunte a los fanáticos. A mí no me pregunte. Yo sé quién soy. Soy varón, soy atleta, soy deportista y a eso me debo. Cuando vengo a la arena es a pelear porque ese es mi trabajo. Es mi trabajo. Darle lo que la gente pagó. Si tú tienes agua aquí, tú pagas esta agua. Tú no estás pagando cerveza, no estás pagando whisky. Estás pagando agua. Tú pagas por lo que tú quieres tomar, por lo que tú quieres comer, por lo que tú quieres ver. Él no respetó eso, brother.
Would you like the rematch? ¿Te gustaría la revancha?
Me gusta pelear. I love fight. Because I love the people. I love the fans. When I fight with Robert Whittaker, you wanted the rematch? Of course. I love it. Because it's my job. Es verdaderamente mi trabajo. ¿Para correr de nuevo? No. Que se quede con la victoria que él supuestamente ganó para él. Porque todo el mundo vio, todo el mundo perdió. Ahí todo el mundo perdió. Se perdió el tiempo viendo esa pelea. Viendo como un atleta que supuestamente era peleador, estaba corriendo. My pleasure.
First question. Israel, at the end of the day, you still got the belt around your waist, another defense of the title, but probably not the fight that everybody was hoping to see, that was wanting to see. It looked like even you looked a little bit disappointed at the end. Just give me an idea kind of what went wrong, I guess. I mean, who should shoulder blame for the way that fight played out?
I mean, it's not the fight I wanted to have. I had a different vision for how this fight was going to end. But it takes two to tango. You know, I can't force a guy to fight. I can force him to make mistakes, which I did a little bit by exposing his legs later on. But for me, if a guy stands there for the first 2 minutes and just has his hands up, am I supposed to risk my belt and get clipped by him? Which I did. I realized, okay, that's a bad move. And I went back to what I do best, which is pick people apart. But yeah, that was really bizarre. I mean, I might as well have just used a training dummy at my gym as my sparring partner, you know. But yeah, it was just really bizarre because I was expecting a little bit more. And like I said, crafty. These guys are crafty. These old guys, they'll do things and act like, why you no fight? I'm like, I'm chopping your legs up. I'm jabbing you. Why aren't you bringing the fight? I mean, you guys know me. I'm never in a boring fight. That's not my style. You see me even tonight, I overcame adversity. You see me overcome adversity again. I mean, before in the Gaslam fight. You've seen when the going gets tough, when someone actually brings the fight, when someone actually comes after you with different looks, different techniques, not just one look. And that's just like a wooden dummy, a wooden kung fu dummy, just standing there. You know, you see Robert Whittaker, who actually blitzed, attacked, you know. I need people to try and take this shit off me. Keep trying.
So he was in here and he said, he put the blame on you and said, you know.
Of course he did.
You were running, you didn't engage, you know, he wanted to put on a war, a battle for the fans, and you simply were a track star running around. How do you address him saying that?
What else is he gonna say? How he's gonna sleep at night? I mean, he lost his last chance at gold, even in the 5th round. Come on, you attack. I've used the Gastelum fight reference over and over again, but that's because I really showed out in that 5th round because I knew I wanted that belt. I wanted it more. Show me you want the belt. That belt was up for grabs, and I went to grab it, and I grabbed it. So show me you want the belt. Don't just roll up and then, do the bachata, the merengue, and then, oh, come fight, boy, come fight. I'll just you. I'm like, these are veteran moves. I think one of his tactics is try to bore you. And he's done it with a lot of guys. He'll just stand there and bore you, and then you're just expecting something, and you lose concentration for half a second or a second, and then he catches you. That's probably his only hope for this fight. I think that was his thing, but yeah, I don't know. That was really bizarre, and it's not my kind of fight. But like I said, check my resume. If you haven't seen me fight before, check my resume and see how I really fuck these dudes up.
Clearly, you're still a star on the rise. And Dana was in here earlier, and he said, man, in hindsight, maybe we shouldn't have made this fight. Maybe we should have waited for Costa to get healthy and made that fight. Sitting here now, do you feel like, maybe this really wasn't the fight to make?
No. Everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. But I'm looking forward to that fight now more than ever, because I actually get a guy that's going to not stand there and do like the 52 blocks at me. He's actually going to come forward, have pressure, and get hit by me a lot.
Yeah. Last thing for me, Costa is obviously the next fight. He says he's looking at July 11th. Dana wants to make sure he gets cleared first. But for you, ideally, when would you like to have that fight?
That sounds good to me. July is my birthday month, and what is he? We're in March, April, May, June. Yeah, I can do that.
Izzy, congratulations on the win.
Hey, what's up, Kevin?
Costa made a comment. He was kind of ripping you when he came in here after the fight, and he basically said you're the most shameful champion he's ever seen. And he said you just ran, you're scared, and he doesn't deserve that I talk about him, meaning talking about you. And he said he'd make you cry. You think he's just trying to get his name in the headlines tonight, or
he sucks at it? That's the thing. He sucks at trying to talk trash as well, and he's easily influenced. I can flick his nose, and you'll see him bark at the cage. Like, he's too emotional, and already I know how that fight's gonna go. I'm gonna sleep that guy. He's a guy that I've had a lot of kickboxing fights. His reach, his arms, when he lets it down, reaches his waist. I'll pick him apart. He's a guy that I'll definitely jab, pick apart, catch him, and then knock him out. That's what I was hoping Romero would be. I had certain moves timed, ready for him, but it's hard to implement them when the guy won't come at you. So yeah, and it's not the fact that I wasn't trying to attack, because eventually I decided, cool, I'm gonna attack you then. I attacked his leg, and I battered his leg. His leg is fucked, trust me. He's not gonna be walking tomorrow. If you've never taken a leg kick, you wouldn't understand. But I looked at his leg after the fight when I was talking to Joe Rogan, and I saw his leg was battered and bruised, and I already knew it was when I think in the 4th round, I could see the damage I did in the leg, so I just invested more in it.
do you feel like, and this is probably applying to both of you, but if something's not working, that you have to adjust and make an adjustment and sort of change what you're doing a little bit? And the fact that you came out after that great women's fight and the crowd's all into it, and I think people kind of had the bloodlust after that fight was going on. They want to see you guys do that. Is it incumbent upon you as the champion or him as the challenger to make an adjustment to change what's happening?
I made an adjustment. I was the one that made the adjustment because, I mean, it's up to both of us. But yeah, definitely up to the challenger as well. Like, I mean, if I fought the way he fought, you guys would rip me to shreds right now as a shameful champion, like Homeboy said, da-da-da-da. But the first round, he didn't do anything. I wasn't able to get off as much as I wanted to. So I think from the second round, end of the second round, the third round, I started to, like, use long attacks, like my leg kicks. I have long legs, so I could touch him. He can't touch me. I'd hit him with the leg kick and try and swing that left at me and miss. But, yeah, it's not up to just me. I'm the champion. I'm the one with the belt. I'm the one with the gold. If you want it, come get it. And in the fifth round, like I said, when I fought Gastelum, the belt was up for grabs. It was about who wanted it more. And I wanted it more. That's why I'm the champion. I'm the champion now. If you want the belt and you know the fight's close, come get it. And he didn't.
Last thing for me, I know, personal lives get involved in your fight camp too. And I wonder, I know you had a little tragedy with one of your animals, and how much did that affect you? And did it You know, during training camp, they did have tear you down a little bit.
No, not really. I put all that in the back burner. I'm very cold in that way, almost like a psychopath. But I'll deal with it later on. Like now, I agree. I'll agree with, you know, I've buried her and all that kind of stuff, and I've made the right moves. Like I made a promise to myself, I'm never getting a cat till I get a property with a kilometer in all directions. And now I have a secure space, a space that no one can ever run over my cat. Don't fuck with cats.
Israel, right here in the back. A lot was made from Yoel's last few opponents that kicking him felt like concrete or steel or anything. So I'm curious, after spending 25 minutes with him, what did it feel like to kick him?
Like flesh and bone and muscle, really thick muscle, but nothing like steel. I don't know, well, like you guys have these metaphors. Have you ever actually kicked steel? It's fucking bullshit. It's just the media perpetuates all this shit. Oh, he's steel. And I said, it just muscle, thick muscle. I understand what people are trying to say, but it's heavy. But nah, I kicked the bottom of the heavy bag at my gym. It's way harder than that. Way harder than him. So it was nothing to me. I kicked him initially, and he checked it, and he pointed like, he kind of smirked like, that hurt. And I was like, I'm still gonna fucking kick you, and I still did. And I still used my right leg at him. And eventually I switched to southpaw and I used my left leg. My injury isn't from anything he did. It's from what I did, from attacking him. So, I mean, that whole shit, that narrative was steel. Put that to rest now.
And then you had another entrance, not similar, your entrance against Whitaker, you danced and performed. This one, you had people coming out with you. It looked like they threw flowers up into the air. So anything you want to say on that, your entrance?
That just came to me the day my cat died. I had a metamorphosis in my car that kind of just made me feel a type of way through music and just the vision I was getting. I was a vessel. So it was what I was supposed to do. I don't know if it came from my ancestors or whatever, but it was what I was supposed to do. And I think it was aesthetically pleasing. Like I said, I wanted to aesthetically please the audience. This is my first pay-per-view headliner in America. I really wanted this is not the fight I wanted. Like I said, I wanted a fight like the any of my fights in the UFC. Watch any of even the Brad Tavares fight. That was my first main event in America. It was a fight night, not a pay-per-view, but Brad Tavares brought the fight. He came to fucking fight, and I sunned him 5-0. This was probably 4-1 or maybe 5-0 on some scorecards, but yeah, like, I wanted to showcase, and the entrance was part of the showcase, definitely.
And then one final one. Dana White said you and Yoel had a tall task ahead of you to outperform the women before your fight. So I'm curious if you watched that fight in the back and what went through your mind watching that.
I didn't really see the fight. I still got caught glimpses of it. I don't really know how to score it or anything. But, yeah, like I said, I came to fight. He came to merengue.
Champ right here. All right, let's take it from the top. So the first punch that he connected with at the very beginning, after he stood there for a few minutes, it looked like you were blinking your left eye a little bit. What happened there?
He punched me in the face.
I'm saying,
and I was blinking a lot because I could see 2 Romeros.
So that's what happened. He cracked you with a good one.
I mean, yeah, he cracked me with a good one, but I mean, this is the guy that's supposed to put everyone down. He hit me because I was not on the outside. My foot positioning was wrong in that stance that I was at, and in the situation I was in, I came down the middle rather than from the side, from the outside. And he cracked me with his best shot early on. I ate that. I'm not proud of my chin, I've told you guys, but I can take a shot. I just don't like to brag about it because it's stupid. But then later on, you see, I read that left hand like it was nothing. Whenever it was coming at me, whoop, I was out the way. I leaned back. But yeah, he did crack me, and that was the best punch of his fight. That was it. That was his best shot of the fight, and that was it. Nothing. I'm still, I got like, what did I have, a little graze over here? Cool.
Yeah, that was actually my next question because he talked about leading up to the fight that he had the perfect game plan to knock you out. So now that the fight is over with, clearly that left hand was his game plan, and like you said, you took it and it didn't really, I mean, your face doesn't look marked up.
No, I'm good. Stay pretty. It's the pretty ones you have to watch out for.
Were you surprised he didn't try to wrestle, though, when that didn't work?
He told me at one point, I can't remember which round, he said, I'm going to take down. I was like, you can try. And then that was his first takedown attempt. Then I got right back up. And then later on, he tried again. And like I said, my nuts on the back of his head, and I got back up.
Israel, back here. First off, big respect for you for showing your love for animals, man. I'm with
Thank
you on
you.
that 100%.
Appreciate it. That's my baby.
Absolutely. So, question for you about Romero, and this is not taking anything away from you. You're an amazing athlete and a great champion. Do you think he's the same fighter that he was 5 years ago, back when he would take people down? He seemed kind of faster and like he could make some things happen. And I don't think this would have happened in a fight with him when he was a little bit younger. Do you see any legitimacy with that?
I could say you have a fair point. But also, when in the last stare down I had with him, the first one initially, when I told him to take his glasses off, I told him to take his glasses off for a reason. Because I want to see the eyes. And I noticed his left eye. There's something wrong with it. It was, I don't know how he got past the doctors. But there's definitely something wrong with his left eye. And his left side of his body, there's something wrong with it. I can feel it, I can see it, I can sense it. So even in the last stare down at the weigh-ins, I noticed it. So my plan was to close up his right eye. But when you're 100% defense or 98% defense, it's hard to, because when you throw a jab, when you attack, you always leave yourself open. Every time I attack, I leave myself open. I take risks. You guys have seen my resume. I don't have to tell you this. I take risks. He didn't. He was 98% defense. He never went below like 85, 86% defense. He was constantly on the defensive and expecting me to attack so he can just open up and then attack me. And like I said, I don't know. It was bizarre. Like I'm still gonna watch the fight again and just marvel at it because it was interesting to be a part of.
Absolutely. A lot of people thought he was going to take a page out of Kelvin Gastelum's book. Were you expecting that as well?
A little bit. That's why I didn't hit my stance at the beginning of this fight. Normally I hit my stance, but I didn't want him to get the jump on me in case that was his plan. But I was ready for anything. I was ready for this. This is his wait, but I was not ready for him to just stand still and just look at me like a crash test dummy.
When the referee warned you guys, what did he say?
He said, "Oh, you guys need to give the judges something to score." And I was doing my work. I was the one moving, getting reads. I was the one jabbing. I was the one attacking. He was waiting for that game plan he had, that one-shot knockout power that he already landed and didn't do shit with. So I was the one working. The ref should have actually looked at him and said, "Look, you need to fucking engage more," because I was engaging. I don't know. I mean, you can have your own personal opinions, but yeah, I was the one actually controlling the fight.
Yeah. Last one for me. With the Paulo Costa fight being next, can we expect some kind of craziness with press conferences, or might you be able to bring some humor?
The guy, he sucks at English. He's a buffoonus ignoramus. He left. I thought he was gonna like shit in his hand and throw it at the cage. So that's why I was trying to look at Joe Rogan like, where is he? And it's like, he's gone. I was like, oh fuck. I was ready to roast him right there and then. Oh, trust me, I'm gonna have fun with him. I'm gonna fucking roast him like a Sunday pig.
Got you. Thank you.
Izzy right here.
Mhm.
When Dana was in here earlier, he said that he thinks you fight to the level of your competition. Basically, citing the Anderson Silva fight as maybe a little lackluster.
The 112, Damian Maia. Yeah, I mean, fair point. Yes, I mean, I can only do so much with what you bring me. It's smart. Yeah, like what am I gonna do? Attack a brick wall and get caught? No, I'm gonna fight to the level that you're giving me. This is a dance. Fighting, I don't know if any of you actually spar or even train, but like there's a flow of energy, there's a flow of body language. So you have to do something for me to react. I have to read you. I have to give you. Like you saw the first 2 minutes, I was trying to probe reads, and he just stood there still with his arms up, fully 100% defense, and then slowly started to like release a little bit, like 0.1%, 0.5%. It's like, what are we doing? And then he caught me when I made a mistake, and that was because I played into his game plan. Maybe I got frustrated, and I thought, okay, let me attack him. And I attacked wrong. I attacked down the center line. And then I was like, oop. But, I mean, thank God. Didn't knock me out. I know a lot of them were hoping like that was the one, and that was him. He was hoping that was his game plan. And then his fucking fat bowling ball-looking coach started booing me after the fight as well. Fuck that cunt.
Yeah, what was that about?
I don't know. Boo. I don't know. Fuck, I don't know. He can, shove it where the sun don't shine.
And when Yoel was in here, I actually asked him about the leg kicks, and he got up and started salsa dancing.
He's a veteran. He's a man that can take a lot of pain. I'm guaranteeing you. I guarantee you, behind closed doors, he's limping. He's sore. He's icing his legs right now. I guarantee you. I'm not scared to show my emotions. I'm not scared to say what happened. But he wants to save face because he lost the fucking fight. So he wants to act like I never got hurt. He never hurt me. I hurt him bad. I'm telling you that. You can see the story. I made his leg the fucking color of the rainbow. Yeah, I hurt him bad.
Last one from me. It's been such like a storybook perfect kind of rides for you in the UFC to win the title and everything you've done. Does a night like tonight, where you're kind of the point of criticism, fair or unfair, whether it was your fault, is that going to bother you?
I wouldn't say I'm the point of criticism. I don't really care what people think at the end of the day. I get paid. You know, I got paid. I mean, even if you look on Twitter, you can see where the memes are going. Like, there's so many memes already popping up showing that he didn't actually bring the fight. So I'm not really the point of criticism. He is.
Izzy over here. You said that you wanted to be the first to finish UL in the UFC and sort of add that to your legacy. You weren't able to get it, but you did defend your title. I'm wondering if that taints your title defense and how you feel about it.
Nah, fuck no. I still beat the guy that I shouldn't even have been in there with me on a 3-fight losing streak. I called him out. I was the one that said, let me fight that guy. The UFC said, nah, we can't put that. Doesn't make sense. I'm like, look, I don't care. Let me fight that guy. But guess what? He didn't want to fight. He was hoping. He was hoping that I would make a mistake. If you want, listen, you have to make someone make mistakes. You have to create the opportunity so you can get your knockout punch. But you can't just stand there and hope I run into it and hope I run into you. That's dumb. Because then I'm just going to stand on the outside and pick you apart. Because I'm not stupid. I'm not going to risk millions of dollars on the line just so I can please some drunken buffoons in the crowd who've been drinking since 4 p.m. Are you shitting me? Nah. So I did what I had to do to win the fight, but it doesn't taint my legacy in the slightest. Trust me, at some points when he was bringing like a little bit of heat, I was waiting for him to swing or do something crazy because I had something planned for him. But he never obliged. So yeah, it's not really on me, it's on him.
Right after the decision was read, we saw on camera you said, see you soon, boy, to him. Do you think you'll meet him down the line again? Or
I said, because he did something and touched me on the chin, I was like, don't punch. He kind of, not chin me, I was like, don't chin me. I can't say, I said, look, if you stick around till you're 50, then I'll see you soon, boy. I was just using this one, I was just mixing his own words against him. It was clever.
And Paulo Costa says he wants to fight you in July. I know you want to stay busy. Does that day work for you?
Yeah, I'm free.
Thank you.
Izzy over here. Did you ultimately lose respect for your Romero and his game plan, especially after everything that he said post-fight?
I think so, yeah. You just brought that question up. I'd say, yeah, it was anticlimax. I love this shit, man. I love to fight. You see me. How many times do I have to fucking bring up the Gastelum fight as a point of reference? The Robert Whittaker fight, the Brad Tavares fight. You know, like, even going to my kickboxing fights, going to my early MMA fights. You've seen me. You've seen my resume. You've seen I don't have boring fights. I look for people who want to fight. And I called out the guy that everyone is supposedly scared of. I'm like, what's so scary about him? I kicked his fucking leg. I kicked it over and over again. It was not steel. He's human. And he acts like he's this... yeah, I definitely lost respect for him. I definitely lost respect for what I thought was gonna be, you know, a really difficult challenge to overcome. And like, it would have been really nice to do what I wanted to do, which was finish him. And I had my game plans in mind, but yeah, he had other plans to just stand there and have his hands up.
It also seems like the blueprint for a lot of guys now is to not attack you because you're a master counter striker and that's what you take advantage of as guys coming at you. But with Paulo Costa, do you think there's any chance that he doesn't come forward?
He's too dumb. He's gonna just Even when he fought Romero pointed at the ground and he looked at the ground and then got struck. Like, he's just such a ignoramus buffoonus. Scientific name. Thank you guys, appreciate it. And watch out for your fucking clickbaits. Hey, the headlines. I know some of you like to use that to get some likes, but watch out. I don't want to block anyone in real life. Thank you. Sorry, Timmy. And still. Standard pose, standard fighter pose. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
In 2020, we're going to stream over 150 live combat sport events on UFC Fight Pass. But it's not limited to MMA. UFC Fight Pass will become the home of world-class boxing and martial arts competition from around the world. Plus, new original series and a huge library of martial arts movies. And of course, our massive archive of over 20,000 fights. Every week is Fight Week on UFC Fight Pass. Sign up now.